All right, thanks everyone so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. Just to say that there should be a poll up asking you about what we're going to be talking about, and that is how have relationships changed in the industry due to COVID-19? Are they impacting us in a positive way? Are we becoming more collaborative? Or are we kind of closing the drawbridge and really just focusing inwards on our own businesses and not working with people as well as we perhaps would have done? And is that having a detrimental effect on relationships? So if you can fill in the poll, that would be amazing. And then we can look at it at the end, although I currently can't see it just now, but I'm sure one of the lovely Aya Gaming next team will be able to help me with that. Without further ado, I shall introduce my two lovely guests this afternoon who really do not need any introduction. So Elaine Gardiner is Affiliate Operations Manager at Betson Group now. She's been in the gaming industry for over 11 years, and there isn't much that she doesn't know about the affiliate industry. And she's heading up the affiliate team at Gig, and also now, I believe, working on the integration with Betson since that happened.
Yep.
Thank you, Elaine. And then Neil has been an affiliate for around 8 years now, I believe, working mostly on live dealer and live casino games, which is something he's really passionate about. So something that he also works beyond affiliation and feeding back with games makers and talking about what works and what doesn't from a clear point of view. And I believe he's also working on quite an interesting new project with Ian Sims called Engage that helps operators find new affiliates that they're not already working with. So thank you both very much for giving up your Friday to have a chat with me.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
About where we are and what's happening in the world. So obviously, we've all been working to various degrees or not at home or in the office or a bit of both. So I guess what I want to talk about is COVID-19 making us more human? Are we more caring than we were before? I'm a big believer that relationships in any industry, but particularly in gaming, are one of the key things, you know, when people buy from people and companies working with companies. Are we more forgiving when things go wrong? I think, you know, we're all quite lucky that we don't have pets and small children and things like that interrupting us constantly, but that has happened for lots of people in their meetings. And I think maybe if we just start by, I'll come to you, Elaine, because you're on my left, maybe just talking about how your working setup has changed because of COVID.
Sure. So I've actually had quite an interesting time during coronavirus. I had started at Gig in January, and when we got back from the London Affiliate Conference on the Friday, it was announced that Betson had acquired the Gig brands. So that was the first kind of big news of the year. And then a few weeks later, I had went to Copenhagen to visit the team up there. And when I got back, the Gig had sent me home to work from home because this is when coronavirus was kind of kicking off. So I had started working from home. So we actually went through like an acquisition working from home, which was very, very interesting for us. I met a lot of new colleagues and even had to onboard a team remotely, which is it was a completely new experience for me. I mean, it's not that I haven't worked from home before, but going through an acquisition during a global pandemic was definitely interesting for us. So maybe my personal story is a little bit different, but starting from home, I kind of threw myself straight into a very strict routine that I actually found that I was more productive. I was getting more done. But like you say about the human element, I started missing people from the office and stuff, and I had to adapt the way that I was kind of working. So I started doing small things, you know, like the girl that I used to sit next to in the office, for example, we would call each other at lunchtime and catch up on what's been going on and things like that, because I wasn't having that kind of usual office interaction. And as the time goes on, I feel like I've definitely made more of a conscious effort to have video calls, especially with the camera on with affiliates and colleagues as well, because you don't have that social interaction. You can't walk up to somebody's desk, and I find a lot of the time it's easier to explain things over a call rather than typing it and stuff. So definitely I've had a lot more video calls, which has been great, and which has actually been great. At the end of the day, I'm tired of talking. Can you believe it? But I have had a lot more video calls, which I've enjoyed.
Okay, and Neil, you're an affiliate working for yourself, so I imagine you spend quite a lot of time working on your own anyway. So has it changed for you, or has it been kind of business as usual, like your day-to-day setup?
Well, the day-to-day setup is exactly the same. I mean, I've been doing the same thing now for about 8 years. So I've always worked from home, sitting in my little office in front of my screens, doing my research and creating content and so forth. But the one thing that has changed really is a bit like Elaine. I like to get out and about and meet people, not necessarily on the affiliate side, but more on the supplier side. So quite a lot of what I do is in the research is get out and meet the software suppliers, go and visit the studios around the world. And I've been all over the place, from Costa Rica through to Romania, Malta, all over I've been. So obviously with COVID, I haven't been able to do that. And that has impacted my ability to get information about what's coming up. So I'm very much having to rely on the suppliers contacting me, the ones I've got good relationships, to let me know what's going on so I can start preparing new content. And obviously the other big thing is, conferences were a huge part of my calendar in the year. Normally visiting one every couple of months, primarily just to go and talk and meet with people. I never normally have an agenda when I go to the conferences. It's all about getting your face out there, shaking people's hands, having a nice chat, not necessarily about business, but just re-establishing and cementing those relationships that you built up over the last few years. You can't really replace that, unfortunately. Skype, Zoom, goes some way to doing that, but it's not quite the same as the sort of the human interaction that you have, from a personal level. So it's sort of a double-edged sword, really. Things have continued much the same, but on the flip side, it's made some aspects of my job more difficult because of...
Yeah, and I think we've all been in the industry for a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think you plan for seeing people every so often, and often it's the relationships that as you say, Neil, you make without agenda. That many years later throw opportunities in your path, because you end up working with someone you've known for a long time, or somebody knows somebody who needs something that you can provide them with. And I think that's why the face-to-face interaction is so important. And I know that you both have quite different views on whether COVID has made things better or worse.
Sure.
I think it's quite interesting, as we are probably hurtling, certainly in the UK, and I believe in many other European countries at least, to a second lockdown. Sorry for everyone who doesn't believe that's going to happen, but I do think it's quite likely. I think we really had a real crest, and like at the beginning, everyone was on Zoom all the time and chatting to people. I know I actually had like a checklist in my kitchen of people to check in with, so I made sure I spoke to certain people and made sure they were okay every week. And then I think we all got real Zoom and social fatigue. We just couldn't be bothered to crack open a bottle of wine and talk to somebody on Zoom. It was just easier to watch Netflix. Neil, you feel quite strongly that relationships have gotten worse. And interestingly, when I did a poll on Facebook, only 2 people, so what's that, 2%, 4%, only 4%, mental arithmetic, only 4% of people felt that relationships have gotten worse. And I think about 56% of people thought these numbers might not add up, because I have done this in my head. So please don't point this out in the questions. I think about 56% of people believed that things were completely the same. And then the remainder, which I think is about 38%, felt that things had actually gotten better. But Neil, you think relationships have gotten worse. What is your experience? Why do you think relationships have gotten worse?
So the reason I say that is because as an affiliate, you're constantly being bombarded by affiliate programs. Basically, they're only interested in you because they want something from you. There's not a
like Elaine spamming you.
Yeah, a bit.
Sometimes.
A bit. So I get that constant stream of affiliate programs that I've never dealt with before and never heard anything about them before, into my mailbox. Very generic emails, which quite honestly I just ignore because they're not adding any value to me. They just want something from me. So that hasn't added to my experience. But in the period that we've been in, where things have come a lot harder for everyone, and that's not just the operators but also affiliates as well. Traffic is harder to come by. People, there was a bit of an upturn certainly in my traffic when COVID first started, when people were at home gambling a bit more, and therefore I got a bit more traffic, and that was fine. But because I'm casino, not sports. But when things started to level off and then drop, the behaviour that I saw with some affiliate programs wasn't brilliant. So I would get people contacting me saying, we need more exposure. We're going to close your account if you don't give us more exposure. Almost holding my player base to ransom to say, pretty much, give us more traffic, give us more exposure, or we'll just close your account.
There's also a big question about responsible gambling there as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. So I can understand the need for more traffic, of course, and I want more traffic. Of course I want more traffic. That's what I'm doing every day to try and get myself more traffic. More traffic means more income for everyone, so we're all happy, and I'm trying my bloody hardest to generate that, but some programs just don't seem to understand that. And I had a very big program a couple of weeks ago, just suddenly send me emails. We're invoking this term in our affiliate terms because you haven't sent us enough players over this the last 3-month period. Therefore, we're shutting your accounts. Thank you, goodbye, and that's it. So my revenue stream from that operator is now gone, and I'm not best pleased about that. Now, I could probably have avoided that had I been in a situation where I'm meeting these people at conferences and reminding them who I am and what I'm doing. But my account was part of an algorithm that they ran across their database, and I fell into the sector that was no longer required, and I'm out on my ear. Regardless of the value of the players that I've sent, it's all done on numbers of players, which is ridiculous. Certainly as a live casino affiliate, where I can send one player and that player can make a casino, £100,000 in 6 months. They're not interested in that. It's only one player, and therefore I'll lose my account because of that. So,
and can I ask with that particular one?
Yeah.
Is that an operator where you have a particularly strong relationship, or is it where you don't have a relationship? And had you had that relationship, do you think it would have been different?
I thought I had a strong relationship with this operator. Absolutely. I know them very well. They know my site very well. I'd always see them at the conferences, and then suddenly I go through that. So it leaves a bitter taste.
Sorry, just to jump in there, because that's actually really surprising to me, because Shona and I had discussed before. I've actually tried to proactively or consciously do the opposite. The ones that maybe smaller affiliates, that more independent affiliates, kind of like yourself, during coronavirus, I've tried to, if I can make a deal work, I make it work, because you have to respect that, these guys are thing. And I mean, people always think of what they can get now, right? If they had maybe supported you during the coronavirus and when things like that, I mean, you might give them something back in the future. But this is what I've been very conscious of. I've always really been believing that relationships and long-term relationships are very important. So me personally and our team have been tried to do the opposite. If we can do a deal and make it work, especially with smaller guys, even if it's like, a few €100 or something there, here or there, or like a hybrid or a small CPA, we've really tried and help people where we can.
Yeah, I mean, I've stuck with the brands that have stuck with me over the years. So, as a small affiliate starting off, it was tough, and some gave me some good breaks early on. And, while I didn't send them traffic then, I've stood by them now when I've got the traffic, and they're reaping the rewards of that. And even if a new brand comes in and offers me over and above what my existing favorite brands are offering me, the answer is always no. I'm sorry, unless they actually want to end the relationship, then I'm carrying on, because they invested time in me, and now I'm going to pay them back, you know, because I'm a honest, upfront affiliate. You know, I don't play games. You know, it's you know, if I'm treated well, then I'll treat the brands well, and that's how it is, you know. And so for the ones that, you know, play games with me, they tend, you know, I tend to just move them down the rankings, or just stop really promoting them. But every brand I've got on my site, I promote, even the ones that don't get traffic. You know, there is some form of work that I'm doing to help promote their brands. But, you know, the reality is, if you've got a website and you've got a table on there, it's only the top 2 or 3 brands in those tables that are going to get the most of the clicks. And then it's down to the operator to increase their brand awareness, so someone can see, oh yeah, actually Casino Z there halfway down the table, I've seen them on TV, or I've seen them in the news, or whatever. Yeah, I'll click that. But
I think it's encouraging to see Elaine bringing as perhaps we would expect, you know, and credit to you, Elaine, to bringing a real human face to it, and not just, you know, not doing a Google on it and just running an algorithm, and trying to work with people and understanding the value of those relationships long term.
So, I mean, it's really sad to hear what's happened to Neil, but unfortunately it happens a lot more than what people than people expect, and it upsets me to a point when I hear that happening, because, you know, the affiliate managers that really work hard and really care about their relationships and their business, it not gives us a bad name, but sometimes we get tired with the same brush. And there is a lot of good affiliate managers out there that do care, and they could have picked Neil out of the pile very easily and said, actually, no, let's make an exception for this guy because of X, Y, and Z. I know time and time, whenever we pull lists or do something like this similar, I can pick out the ones that you know that are genuine, or for whatever reason, you know, and you have to take it on a case by case. It can't be like a cookie cutter approach to every affiliate.
Yeah, and I understand that, and you know, it's yeah, I understand you run numbers by, you know, the business by numbers, but you're absolutely right. The human element has to be there, and that's why I think, you know, not being able to just walk up and shake someone's hand or kiss them on the cheek or whatever, you know, that's a huge amount of you know, building that relationship, and being able to then just to Skype someone and say, oh, there's, you know, I've been cold, you know, could you sort things out for me so I can, you know, still operate, and, you know, and know that you're going to get a fairly instant response. You know, some programs I send an email off, I might not hear for 2 months, you know, and they're generally they're the programs that don't have specific email addresses for individuals. They're just generic ones that go in a pot that, you know, someone may or may not look at, you know.
So I'm mindful we've only got a few minutes left. So before we finish, Elaine, you've had quite a positive experience. What would you say your kind of top tips are for ensuring that relationships do continue to grow and are beneficial, and that you don't lose that contact with people while we're physically separated?
Sure. Definitely have video calls, turn on that camera, even if you're at home looking in your pajamas and stuff. I think it really brings a human element. Like you, Shona, you've brought us into your home today. You showed us where you live and stuff. And, you know, it's nice to get a little bit more connected with people. You don't have that kind of work chat, and I end up chatting to people that I have video calls with about maybe not personal stuff, but, you know, like kind of day-to-day things. And I feel that they build better relationships. But yeah, definitely turn on your camera. In terms of relationships in general, like especially with our team, we have a coffee every morning via Skype, and we just talk, not necessarily about work, but if it comes up, you know, we talk about the day, what we had for dinner last night and stuff, just so that we're still building those relationships and working on that human element while we're separated. As many video calls with a camera on as possible, I think.
Neil?
It's difficult for the affiliate programs, I know, because they've got thousands of affiliates. So, you know, how do you single out individual affiliates and whatnot? But I would say the ones that are, so for me, I've probably got about a dozen that I would want to regularly talk to. And I would say of that dozen, probably 2 or 3 actually keep in contact with me, and the others don't, only when they want something. And that might be a compliance update, or I've done something, you know, haven't quite got my site or the promo correct or whatever. So I'm on some people's radars, but not others.
Would you like to have more social conversations with programs?
I would like to know who my contact is all the time. The person, I'd like to at least have FaceTime them or Skype them or whatever, so I know who they are, so I can see a face. It's quite bizarre, but I have better relationships and more relationships with the software suppliers than I do with the affiliate programs. I know much more about live casino products, games, absolutely everything than the operators do, than the online casinos. So I can bring a huge amount of help to the affiliate programs and to the casino, the online casino operators and how they present their live casino and all that sort of stuff. They'll get that free for nothing just by having a relationship with me. They tend to overlook that opportunity. So some don't, I must say, and some are quite open to receiving feedback about their about how they promote their stuff.
So I think quite a clear thing then, sort of from both of you, and that I certainly think is having a call, like just checking in with people, but without an agenda. So not calling to sell something or to ask for it to be pushed up a ranking or for anything, just calling to have a chat, the same way you might just walk past someone's, stand at a show and stop and have a beer and just have a chat. So I think that's probably, kind of one of the key things that's come out is, like, do just check in on people and just try and remember to have that human element to you, because it's something that we're going to have to, I think, deal with for, the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So thank you both very much for spending your Friday afternoon with me. I very much hope that in the not too distant future, we might all be able to sit and have a glass of wine or a beer together.
Thanks for having us. Or me.